Morning everybody, it's Coach Ray out here, and I just had to stop in the middle of my run. I know it's dark, but it was on my heart to stop right at this spot for some reason. And that was the reason right there. You know, one of the reasons I love to run first thing in the morning is because it's when I talk with my dad the most. And he communicates with me, and so does my brother who passed away through the lights. And as you saw, which is amazing, as I was running up to here, this light went off. And he said, "This is where I need you to share this message, because I want to be there with you to give you the strength you need, because this is probably one of the most powerful messages, I believe, and that's why you haven't heard from me for 2 or 3 days. It's because I've been pondering and praying on it. I want to say the right words, and I want to talk to y'all about bullying. It's something I'm very, very passionate about. You know, I graduated from a class of 1,200. I was the only African American. I really didn't understand that there was a difference, but I did get picked on a lot and name called and all that. And so as I'm in, because I think what we all know, and kids are mean. There's nothing meaner than kids. And parents, if you think back, you know what I'm talking about. Kids, if you're watching this, you're living it, a lot of you. And my message is, if you're one of those kids who's part of the in crowd and you think it's cool to, just go with the flow and pick on the kids that aren't so popular, there goes my dad again off. I would encourage you to be a leader, not a follower, because that's what you're being. You're being a follower. I encourage you to be a leader. A leader, step up. Stand up for those kids. Even though I was picked on a lot back in school, that's what I used to do. I could have hung out with all the cool kids. I could have hung out with, the in crowds, but I chose to hang out with the out crowds because I actually enjoyed their company better. And I would stand up for them. And I would protect them. And fast forward to now, a lot of those guys are still my friends and I'm still in contact. And here's what I'll tell you. I can tell you this, and any adult will tell you this, that those popular kids in school are not popular later on in life. And it just is the way it is. It's the kids that are being picked on, that are being bullied, that think you have no value, that have low self-esteem. You need to understand, you are the future of our country. You are the champions. You do have greatness. You wouldn't be on this earth if you didn't. And, I just recently had to go into school on behalf of one of my sons. I got 3 beautiful kids. One is as white as they can be. The other is mixed like me. And the other is, I don't know. But they're my kids and they're beautiful. But because they're not the cookie cutter, I know they'd be suspect to bullying and being picked on. And I knew those days were coming. And one of my kids is dealing with it a lot. And so I had to go into the school, and, it was tough. Because that's my flesh and blood, and I don't... It's hard as a parent, because what do? You want to just go in there and fight for them and protect them, but you got to give them the strength to be on their own, But you also got to be there to back them. Like I said, I had to do a lot of pondering and praying on this one because I want to get the right things it said. What I encourage you as parents, just really keep a watchful eye on your kids. Really pay attention to what's going on in their life. Change in diets, change in moods, change in their grades. They're not going to come running home, unfortunately, and tell you things are bad. Kids, I'd encourage you to have a strength to go to your parents. If you can't go to your parents, come to me. I beg you. You know, reach out to me so we can talk, so you can have an outlet, you know, somebody to share with, because here's what happens. We get caught up in this situation of being bullied and picked on, and just so we try to be in, we kind of laugh with the group and like it's okay and it's funny, and it's not okay at all. It starts as a little joke and everybody thinks it's funny but you pretend it's funny. And then you end up getting angry, or you end up getting hurt, you know, and then you end up usually, unfortunately, doing one or two stupid things. And we see it in the news all the time. Kids just had enough. They said, I had enough. And they end up going in and doing some drastic measures, and which they can't take back. Or they end up, you know, taking their own life or doing something like that. You know, I can think of 2 stories in my own life. One of our friends back in high school was one of those kids, and he was like the joke of everything and everybody. He was always so funny and, you know, always laughing, and everybody thought it was funny, making fun with him, they thought, but they didn't know. He didn't really think it was funny. He was just trying to fit in. And I'll never forget the day that one morning he called several of us really early in the morning. He said, hey, you want to go hang out? We're like, dude, it's like 3, 4 in the morning, dude. You're going to get me in trouble. And the next morning we got to school, we found out that he hung himself in the stairways of his house. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think, if I would have got up out of bed and gone and hung out with him, that maybe he'd still be here today. You know, I think of another story that I saw of a football player from Oregon, and he shared what was the most pivotal thing in his life. And he said there was a good friend of his back in the day and that committed suicide, and when they found the note, he said, if one person says hi to me today and is nice to me, I won't take my life. So he's made it his mission that he says hi to everybody, and there's a big smile, and asks them how they're doing. And so I don't know, I'm kind of rambling, you know. You can see I'm very passionate about this. This is something that's very dear to my heart, and I know it's very prevalent in the schools and with our youth, and probably even with some of us adults, you know, because people unfortunately are just mean. And you know, it makes me think of one of my favorite quotes, which is I don't like that man, I need to get to know him, by President Lincoln. So maybe if there's somebody in your life right now that you don't like, you don't understand, you think is different, maybe you need to get to know him. Maybe you need to say, hey, let's go have a coffee, let's go have tea, or hey, you want to play with us today? Hey, we're passing ball today after school. You want to come throw the ball with us? You want to come do that? I encourage you to be a leader, not a follower. And I just want to share with you, because it's important. I'm going to turn around here and you can see all these street lights. And they're all on. And this one street light that I stood under, because as I was running, it was on my heart, that went, and there it goes on again right there. It's gone on and off during this conversation. That's how I communicate with my dad and my brother. Whenever I have something deep on my heart, I go running, and I'll run under a light, and it flashes on or off and tells me, and I know whether I'm on the right track or not. So this has been a long message, but it's a powerful message, and I beg and I ask and I plead to you that if you know anybody that you think is even remotely dealing with bullying, that you share this message with them. Share it with the parents, share it with the kids. Let them know they're not alone. I'm here for you. I'm here, reach out to me. Please. I don't want another kid to go or do anything drastic because they were picked on, bullied. I have no tolerance for that at all. In our house, it's a non-negotiable. So I hope that helps. God bless. Have a great day. Peace.